Is Your Shape Fitness Evolve 2012 a good workout game? That's a good question that I seek to answer in my video today. Getting right into things, this title impressed me by the sheer amount of content that it offers. You have tons of different workouts, activities, warm-ups, and dance classes to choose from. And while I largely focused on the workouts, I did mess around with the other units offered in this game. But for the workouts themselves, they were divided up into several courses, which focused on different things, like your arms, legs, back, cardio, etc. And each course starts off with short and simple classes that could last 2 to 5 minutes, but you later work your way up to classes that last upwards of half an hour. Now workouts have a variety of exercises, including, but not limited to things like squats, push-ups, crunches, jumping jacks, etc. Although I personally had to avoid jumping because I learned the hard way that it ticked off my downstairs neighbors. Anyways, you do get graded off how well the Kinect reads your movements, but the Kinect being the Kinect, it only works when it wants to. Now this was a huge problem in the first game, Your Shape Fitness Evolved, because in that game, you could not progress until the Kinect read your motions, which was a near impossible task at times. But thankfully, 2012 fixed this, so that the workout progresses regardless of whether or not the Kinect can read your movements, which was a huge W for this sequel. Anyways, getting back to the grades, this is present in almost every class or unit in the game, but getting a good or a bad grade doesn't really affect gameplay, only achievements, but you can earn badges for getting a high score, and said badges do nothing but give you a sense of accomplishment. And I think that mostly wraps up the workout discussion. I'm not gonna lie, this game is a good way to help you lose a couple of pounds, especially if you played it in hour-long chunks like I did. And sometimes I played with weights to get in a little extra exercise, and I was really surprised by the solid routines offered in Your Shape. Moving on to other things, I would like to discuss the warm-ups. They were overall pretty decent, having you do things like kick a digital soccer ball, or having you rotate your hips, as if you were using a hula hoop, but nothing too extreme. I mean, come on, it's the warm-up section, it's supposed to be light. Now in between warm-ups and the workouts, you have activities, which kinda fall in the middle difficulty-wise. They're neither too easy or too intense, and are things like jump rope, punching cubes, or jogging in place. And finally, you had classes, which were things like dancing and yoga. I don't care for yoga, but I did mess around with dancing. And coming from the same company that published Just Dance, this was a bit of a disappointment. The dances themselves were decent at best, and were things like Latin, hip-hop, or African-style dancing. And you can see on screen my failed attempt at dancing. Laugh all you want, I know I was bad. But the music itself was okay, no licensed tracks as far as I could tell, but the tune selection was alright. And that could be said for the whole game really, as the OST wasn't bad. And there's even an announcer who adds commentary to the workouts, and that was a nice touch if you ask me. Plus the graphics were alright for what this title is. Changing gears, I would like to talk about the progression system. Some classes and activities are in tiers, if you will, and you have to do an easier version of them before you can move on to something more advanced. I hope that makes sense. Also, Your Shape keeps track of how many days that you play and how many calories that you burn. While I trust the day counter, I found the calorie counter to be questionable, as it'd say I burned a ton of calories for a low effort activity, but not many for more intense workouts. I don't know, but burning calories does allow you to rank up, and ranks are in belts, kinda like karate, with how you have an orange belt, a blue belt, and so on, all the way up to black. I personally burned over 3,000 calories at the time of my riding, which earned me the rank of Purple Belt, and every rank up comes with an achievement. And I think that's about all I can say about this title gameplay-wise. Now I know that this game had some sort of online features at one point, but they've been shut down, so no comment. And also, a couple activities support local MP, but I didn't have a second player, so again, no comment. As far as performance, performance goes, the game itself seemed to run fine, although the motion controls were iffy. While they're way better than in the first Your Shape game, they're still very flawed and read maybe about 65 to 75% of my actions properly. So not the worst Kinect game on the market, but there are more accurate games out there. In conclusion, with all things said, I would say that yes, Your Shape Fitness Evolve 2012 is actually a good workout game. It fixed the issues I had with the first game and managed to make exercise kind of fun, while also allowing me to up my gamer score, and this title earns a 8 out of 10 by my grade scale. Used copies of this game are pretty cheap, so if you want to lose a pound or two while gaming, this is one to consider, and I personally paid about $4 for a used CIB copy. As far as similar games I could recommend, I don't know, maybe Child of Eden, you might like that, or Fighters Uncaged, if you want something more intense. But if you choose to play that one, go in with very low expectations. And I have reviewed Fighters Uncaged, link to that video in the end card if you want to watch it. And I reckon that wraps up my review itself for today. Thanks for watching and for tolerating my horrible narration. For anybody who's new here, I mostly review and discuss Xbox 360 games, so feel free to check out some of my other vids if that sounds like your thing, and follow me on GameRam for hints at upcoming vids and behind the scenes action. As far as our Bible verse of the day, I read Proverbs 17:22 NIV. A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. Like always, none of my content is ever made by AI, I create my own stuff, keep YouTube human, and I do not consent to my voice and likeness being modified, altered, and copied by AI in any way. Jesus is king, and he loves you all. Thanks again for watching, have a good one, peace. Now this was a huge problem in the first game, Your Shape Fitness Evolved, because in that game you could, and I think that mostly wraps up the workout discussion. I'm not gonna lie,